We are here today for our veterans. The Cherokee veterans have always been very proud of their military service. The families of our veterans are equally as proud of their loved ones' service in the military. The Cherokee have served the country well, and many have given the ultimate sacrifice. On the very first day, Veterans Day, on November 11, 1918, our nation honored Steve Youngdeer, U.S. Army, and Joe Colonna Heskey, U.S. Army, for giving up their life to their country. In World War II, 15 tribal members gave their life in service to our country. It was Boyd Catt, U.S. Army, Jacob Cornsilk, U.S. Army, Adam West Driver, U.S. Marine Corps, James R. Lambert, U.S. Army, Samuel William Otter, U.S. Navy, Blaine Queen, U.S. Army, Mark Rattler, U.S. Marine Corps, Isaac Ross, U.S. Army, Joshua Shell, U.S. Army, Sheridan Smith, U.S. Marine Corps, Vernon George Sneed, U.S. Army, William Taylor, U.S. Navy, Enos Thompson, U.S. Army, Jeremiah Tornado, U.S. Army, Robert Austin Juanita, U.S. Marine Corps. In Korea, 2 of our members gave up their lives. Charles Arch, U.S. Marine Corps, and Charles George, U.S. Army Medal of Honor recipient. In Vietnam, we lost John Burgess, U.S. Army, and John Edward Newcomer, U.S. Army. I will end today with just a few of the people I thought of on this Veterans Day, and I thought of every one of you in here. I see a helicopter crew of 4 that I served with in Vietnam. They did not return from the mission on December 28, 1965. 43 years later, they were found, and in 2009, we laid them to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. In that same war, I see Arnold Watchotchee walking point for his squad in the hazards of the combat of Vietnam. I see Lou Harding, who I did not know at the time, flying his Navy plane right in front of our helicopters as they landed in fierce combat. And the ordnance he dropped in front of us was very much appreciated. Thank you, Lou. I see King Rogers and Jacob Cornstick on that eldest battalion death mark. I see Reuben Taylor, very young and proud, in that bitter cold of the Battle of the Bulge in Belgium. I see Chief Robert Youngdeer and his brother Henry as they lay side by side in the hospital beds on the hospital ship in the Pacific. I see John Ed Newcomer in the hospital. I see John Ed Newcomer in a bitter fight in the Kon Tum province of Vietnam in February 1967, giving his life for his country. I see Sergeant John Burgess putting his armored personnel carrier between the advancing enemy and his own troops in northeastern jungles of Vietnam, saving many of his own soldiers, but giving his life for them and his country. John Burgess, 23 years old and already a sergeant in charge of troops in combat. Among his many military awards were 2 Silver Stars, 2 Bronze Stars, and a Purple Heart. And I see Charles George saving others as he gave up his life on a hand grenade in the frozen hell of Korea. On this Veterans Day of November 11, 2013, let us honor all who served. Let us honor the many Cherokee veterans who served. Let us remember especially all who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Let us just remember that the very last thing they did on this earth was to give their life for you and I. Thank you.